God, yeah. So one of our books is Look Me in the Eye. It's really good. It's written by a writer who has Asperger's, and growing up, it was prior to Asperger's being a diagnosed disorder, and so teachers and parents and everyone just thought he was really disrespectful, and he was just like, he basically got convinced to drop out of high school, like all these things. Ended up like making like amps and things for like Kiss and all these bands. Though it's a really cool story. But so this kid comes up to me and he's like, I'm really struggling with the it was with the literary devices. He's like, with literary devices. I'm like, okay, well, what have you found? And blah blah. And he's like, I can get the tone, but he's like, he doesn't use these. He's a very literal person. He makes fun of when people use like, and he didn't use the word idioms, but you know, he was like when they say like raining cats and dogs, he's like, where? I don't see them. You know, like, yeah, and he's naming pets, and it's like, when my brother named a dog Kitty, it's like ridiculous or whatever. But he's like, I was like, oh my gosh, of course, like that's gonna be harder for you guys, because the way that he writes as a memoir, you're gonna write in your own voice, and he's not somebody who would use these strategies or devices. I just was like, I didn't even think about that when we created these, so that was really cool.
In addition, with that book, I had another student that came up to me and said, my brother has autism, and this is like a view into his world.
Yeah.
And this is not, I mean, like, I had no idea about any of that.
And I had a kid with the same book, different kid, obviously, same thing. I really hate my brother sometimes, but at least I like don't want to punch him in the face now.
Well, I understand. Right?
That's good.
And then I had another girl in a different class who I knew had autism, and she picked this book. And so that was really interesting to see her kind of process it as we went through, and she really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and a lot of just stuff with, like, we did Glass Castle and we did Angela's Ashes, like a lot of different books with dealing with poverty, and it was cool hearing these, you know, like young Hispanic boys relate to this Irish guy, you know, about like, yeah, I felt that way too, of like, they were all relating to like, oh yeah, in the hospital, when he goes to the hospital and he's like happy because he gets a meal and he gets whatever, and they talked about, yeah, like we've been so happy to get really shitty meals at places before because it's better than, you know, like some of these really thoughtful, profound conversations that I think more than the roles were probably what were the best takeaways.
You didn't do this in honors, did you?